And here we go again, the beginning of another new week, also a new month, August 1st. It's Monday. I'm Pete Najarian. This is The Take. And I'll tell you what, when you look back at July, an impressive month. But when you look back just to Friday, we had a lot of different things working that were really, really powerful. And we talked about all week, going into the week, throughout the week, we talked about it being the biggest week of the quarter. And it is every quarter, but that week, last week, was the biggest week for the quarter for earnings, and it did not disappoint. And we had a huge move. As a matter of fact, Apple and Amazon definitely giving a nice extension to the markets to the upside. Both Apple, obviously, a contributor to multiple different indices, but looking at the Dow itself, and you look over at Amazon also, had a great day. When you look at the NASDAQ, just absolutely flying to the upside. It was nearly a 2% move to the upside. 225 points to the upside. We are back well above that 12,000 level that we had just pierced below just not too many trading sessions ago. Then you look over at the Dow, pushing on that 33,000 level, and a big move as well, 1% to the upside, a 300 plus point move. It was everything that everybody was looking for. And it really came down to the Fed and what they had to say, earnings, what was reported last week, and the projections, and a lot of folks that were just looking for a reason to maybe be in the markets. It seemed like everybody was looking for that as well. A lot of different flows that were coming in there. Give you one example. We talked about some of the low volumes here and there during July, but Friday, 48.5 million contracts trading on Friday. Big day. The 2-year right around 2.8, the 10-year right around 2.6. You had volatility that has been dropping into the 21s. You had the VXN as well. That was pulling back. Then you look over at the Bitcoin, which was had been hit to the downside. But lately it's been having more moves to the upside. Matter of fact, got back up near that 24,000 level. So a lot of good things actually in the backdrop. You look over at crude, it hit 101 early in the session on Friday, pulled back, finished the day right around 98. So a really, really impressive day, impressive week. And a lot of what was really working throughout the week, and energy certainly did stand out. It absolutely stood out on Friday with a 4.5% move to the upside from the energy sector. A lot of that powered by, the really big dogs. Chevron, a big name like Chevron, up 9%. That really is a statement. You had Exxon, you had BP, you had Oxy, you had ConocoPhillips. You had a lot of those beta names participating as well. Phillips 66, consumer discretion, a monster day. And all you've got to do is look at Tesla up 6%, Amazon up 10%. That gives you a little bit of a reason on why that was so strong. That sector was up over 4%. Industrials are up a couple of percent. Caterpillar, really the mainstay there. That was up 5%. But you had Deere, Triple M, you had Honeywell, all moving to the upside. Industrials up a couple of percent, led by Cat, as I said. But then you look over at tech, and you're wondering, how big of a move are we going to get out of that? Well, tech actually, believe it or not, it had a very strong day, up 1.5%. But when you look at some of the other sectors, it kind of paled in comparison. Nonetheless, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, all moving to the upside. And then the financials with JP Morgan leading the charge there, along with Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs has been absolutely on fire. If you blinked, go back and look at where Goldman Sachs was just a week ago, 2 weeks ago, in terms of the price and where it moved up to. Just an extraordinary move to the upside. And why would that be? Well, because it was one of the least expensive when you look at the price to book of those financials that we talk about all the time. We had a lot of other areas in the market that were definitely moving to the upside. We had Freeport-McMoRan, you had Ford. Ford had an absolutely outstanding day. Then you had Datadog, you had AMD, you had Nike. That really did help a lot. Not everything was perfect. Intel was absolutely awful. That was something that definitely dragged a little bit on markets that were moving to the upside, but a little bit of a drag. You had JD and PDD from the Chinese side of things. You had Procter & Gamble as well, a little bit weaker. AbbVie was another one of those. VF Corp, another one. But overall, it was just an extraordinary month, an extraordinary week, and an extraordinary day on Friday. Now you get into all of this newness, right? We're in the start of August. It's Monday. It's still earnings, but man, everybody's trying to catch their breath. We've already had a pretty rapid, crazy kind of market in front of us. We started off in the pre-market down about 150 points, down about 75 points in the NASDAQ. We rallied off of that in the first 45 minutes or so. Matter of fact, around 9:15 Central Time, We're up about 35 points on the NASDAQ. We're up about 45 points on the Dow. We actually were up even a little bit further than that. And the next thing you know, we started to just turn in the last 15 minutes or so. Right before coming on here, we were down about 75 points on the Dow, and we were starting to leak back into the red for the NASDAQ as well. The NASDAQ's been a little bit better performer, but then it's been starting to move back as well. Now, we had crude around 98 on Friday, as we just talked about. Today, right around 94, 95, kind of moving back and forth. Bitcoin off a little bit, not terrible, but about 2% to the downside. 23,200 is where Bitcoin is. It was 24,000, so a little bit off of that. The 2-year and 10-year, they're not moving a whole heck of a lot. Volatility index was in the 21s. Here we are back into the 22s. We're in the 28s for the VXN, the volatility of the NASDAQ. You get the general picture there. By the way, nat gas, after that big explosive move up towards 10, has really been kind of steadily kind of pushing to the downside. We've had a little bit of a rebound here and there. Today, not one of those. We are back below $8 now on the nat gas. Something to definitely keep an eye on. Nobody talked about it on the way up, and a lot of people are just still dismissed and not really talking much about it now, but it's very, very interesting. And I think that's part of the energy space that people do need to have a bit of a focus, or at least the knowledge of what's going on with natural gas. Speaking of energy, natural gas, oil, all of that, down almost 3% in the, right out of the gate. We were down a little over 3% as we've pushed into this first hour of trade. Financials got a little bit better. They're down about 1%. Materials were down about 1%. The big flip in the markets and why we went from negative to positive, and now we're moving back a little bit. But consumer discretion, big move. That was up just a little bit, but then started to really start to ramp up almost 1.5% early on. And tech got off of where it was, down almost 0.75% to get back up towards flat. Communications as well. So it was just sort of that inner movement there that actually was giving the markets what we were talking about in terms of that movement. By the way, unbelievable month. But not just an unbelievable month for the year, but since 2020, one of the best performances we have seen across the board. Unbelievable July, and a little bit of a surprise, but we had earnings, a lot of catalysts. We obviously had the Fed last week as well. But when you want to look and see where was really the biggest push, I'll tell you what, it goes right back to the names that we've been talking about for a lot of years now. It was Apple up about 25% on it was Microsoft, it was Google, it was NVIDIA. All those, the old names that we've been talking about for quite a long time really were the PowerPoint of what was really started lifting those markets back up. That's what really did push us in July. We'll see what happens in August, and we'll see what happens as we get now into a little bit different part of the earnings season. A lot of that right in front of us, right in our face right now, and it'll start tonight. We'll see more of that, and obviously throughout the week. Boeing, unbelievable day. Lockheed Martin, a great day. Also, Northrop Grumman started off strong. Tesla, I'm looking over at Target, that was up 3% early on. Intel, little bit of a bounce, not all of the bounce it needs, but a little bit of a bounce off of a horrendous day on Friday. Cruise ships, they're getting hammered pretty good. Beta Energy, that's getting hammered pretty good. Names like Diamondback, names like APA and Marathon Oil. Also, take a look at JD and JDD, and you take or PDD, and then you look at NetEase and Baidu and those names, Chinese names under fire once again. Then I look over and I see Okta, I see Datadog, some of that category of names as well. Zoom, a little bit of a pullback today. So interesting to watch what's working and what's really not working, and a little bit of that safety trades to some degree definitely kicked in. Got two unusuals and we're out of here. A lot of people say, where are you guys? Where's the unusual? The unusual is here on the take every single day of the week. It's also on Rebel's Edge, Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. John and I get together. If you haven't seen it, I would encourage you to watch. We really enjoy it. It's right at noon Central Time, 1 o'clock Eastern Time on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays. We're going to go over 4 categories that we find important within the markets. We give you a couple of unusuals, and we give you a little bit of sports with the background that John and I have in the sports world. So that's really a lot of fun. Matter of fact, tune in today for that as well. And by the way, you're watching on YouTube, please hit that like button and subscribe and all of that. Really, really would be helpful, and we really appreciate that. And we've done very well. We're really pleased with how things are moving along right now. FDX, that's my first one, FedEx. was trading around 238. Now it slipped back down a little bit as the market started to slide. So maybe an opportunity to get into options at a little bit better price than what they were playing. But everything, by the way, I wanted to mention this, all but 3 of our unusuals early on, first hour, I think we've got about 12 or 13 right now. All but 2 or 3 are expiring Friday. We are back to a lot of this very, very short-term trade. So August 5th, that's exactly what they're doing at FedEx. 5,700 of these were bought, the 255 calls. Those were going for a very inexpensive amount of money. So it's not a monster trade. Just wanted to make you aware of what we are seeing in the markets, and that one stood out early on. Then a bunch of monster trades just came in the last 10 or 15 minutes. Pepsi, now that one's pretty good too. 176 is where the stock was trading. 7,700 of Friday's expiring August 5th. The 180 calls, those are 24 cents up to about 38 cents. So it's fairly inexpensive, but a nice big chunky move in another name that a lot of people are looking at. They're looking at, I'll tell you what, take a look at what Pepsi's investment is doing today to Celsius, CELH. That's a stock that moved to the upside. I do own it. I'm not trying to promote it, but I will tell you this. Pepsi, a great move. And this is something that we figured would happen at some point in time as a lot of these different categories start to buy into the energy drink world. Coca-Cola's done it. They've been investing for a long time. They've jumped in there. Pepsi, Celsius, big investment in there as well. Something really interesting to watch and keep an eye on. Now, Pepsi, 7,700 of those, decent size. But like I say, those are going for 24 cents up to about 38 cents. Folks, have a great day of trading. Derivatives are a great place to be. I love it every single day. It gets you all jazzed up. And I have a lot of great followers who I really appreciate on Twitter who are very, very active, but they've got the knowledge. You've got to have the knowledge. You do not want to just jump in. Find that knowledge anywhere you can, whether it's on the internet or in books or with our team of guys who are great educators, wherever you want to go. But it is a complex thing to figure out, and you do need to have education to have the best experience possible. Have a great day of trading.